All right. If I get mine, I will. There you go. Psalms 23, verse 1. Yahweh is my shepherd. I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil. My cup runs over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. And I will dwell in the house of Yahweh forever. Psalms 34, verse 9. O fear Yahweh, you saints, for there is no want to them that fear him. The young lions do lack and suffer hunger, but they that seek Yahweh shall not want any good thing. The key word is want. Yahweh is Elohim. It is he who made us, and we are his. We are his people, the sheep of his pasture. So what is it that keeps you from real joy? How would you fill in this blank? I'll be happy when blank. How would you fill that out? Like, I'd be happy when I'm healed, or I'll be happy when I'm promoted. I'd be happy when I'm rich. I'd be happy when I own my own home or get my own car paid off. Now, what if you put in your blank happened? What if it would happen, what you put in that blank? I would like for us to go visit a prison that is the most populated prison in the world. There are more residents there than there are resources. This prison has more inmates, and they say they are overworked and underfed. This prison has more people in it. This prison is more oppressive and more permanent than any other prison that ever existed. The walls are bare and the bunks are hard. Most that are in this prison are there for life. Some get out for a short while, but they always seem to return. Even though it is an overcrowded facility, the people want to be there. Can you believe that? What do you think this prison's name would be called if there was a sign over the door as you enter it? It'd be in 4 letters, W-A-N-T, want. You see, we find many that are not satisfied with life and are encased in the prison of want. They always want something more. It has to be bigger. It has to be nicer. It has to be faster. It has to be greater. Does not have to be much, just a little more than what they have. One thing more, like a new job, a new car, a new friend. When that one comes, they will be happy. Once the happiness comes, they leave that prison of want. But then it happens. The car loses its new smell, the new job becomes routine and not a challenge. The neighbor buys a new and bigger screen TV, and the new friend becomes dull. So they return to this prison of want, and they return willingly. Let me ask you, do you feel better when you have more and worse when you are in need? If your happiness is dependent on what you deposit in your bank, or what you drive, or what you drink or eat, you are in this prison of want. That's the bad news. And we have good news also. We have a man named David who comes to us and tells us the secret of satisfaction. Yahweh is my shepherd. I shall not want. You see, David is saying that he has found a pasture where discontent goes to die. What I have in Elohim is greater than what I don't have in this life. Let us think about the things we own, like the car you drive, or the house you live in, or the clothes you have in your closet and drawers, and maybe the stocks you have bought, all that money in the bank, all that stuff. Well, what about all that stuff? All that stuff is not yours. Take time to visit with the funeral director and ask how many people he has taken care of that has taken any of that stuff with him. It was once asked about John D. Rockefeller, how much did he leave behind when he died? His estate man said all of it. Ecclesiastes 5:15. And as he came forth of his mother's womb, naked shall he return to go as he came, and shall take nothing of his labor, which he may carry away in his hand. All that stuff is not yours. Who you are has nothing to do with the clothes that you wear, fashion, or the car you drive. It loses value just as soon as you drive off the lot. Or the things you possess. They are all subject to decay and wear out. Or the money you have, the interest you gain, or the interest you have to pay. Yeshua said it in this way in Luke chapter 12, verse 15. And he said unto them, take heed, beware of covetousness, for a man's life consists not in the abundance of the things which he possesses. Life is not defined by what you have, even when you have a lot. It might be stated like this: you are not known in Yahweh's kingdom for the nice suit you have on, or the nice house you dwell in, or the new bike you just purchased. It is what is in your heart that is known about you. 1 Samuel 16:7. But Yahweh said unto Samuel, look not on his countenance, or on the height of his stature, because I have refused him. For Yahweh sees not as man sees. For man looks on the outward appearance, but Yahweh looks on the heart. Yahweh does not look at the things that man looks at. Man looks at the outward appearance, but Yahweh looks at the heart. Is he a good speaker? Does he look pretty? He's a nice, handsome man. He's standing up in front of everybody. Surely he must have something better to say than someone that doesn't. But Yahweh looks at the heart. What does Yahweh notice about you? Your compassion, your devotion, your tenderness, your willing spirit. He doesn't notice the things you have. So when you think about yourself, it is not good to think about the things you have, because in doing that, you will feel happy when you have a lot and sad when you don't have much. Paul said this in Philippians 4, verse 11. Not that I speak in respect of want, for I have learned in whatsoever state I am therewith to be content. I know both how to be abased, and I know how to abound. Everywhere and in all things I am instructed both to be full and to be hungry, both to abound and to suffer need. I could do all things through Messiah, which strengthens me. There was a man who stated that he was only 32 when he found out he had MS. This disease cost him his career, his mobility, and his life. And he was not able to feed himself or walk and had to have help to get from place to place. He never lost his sense of thankfulness. It was seen in his prayer list. His friends in church asked him for a list that they could pray with him about. He gave them a list of 18 blessings that he was thankful for and 6 concerns which to be prayed about. So you can see the math here. His blessings outweighed his needs 3-1. He was a man that learned contentment. He knew who his shepherd was. So how are you doing? There's also a story of a leper on the island of Tobago. With a short-term missionary met, and on the final day of his trip, he asked the leper if she had a favorite song. She turned around and looked at him with the most disfigured face he have ever seen. She had no nose or ears or even lips were gone, and she raised her fingerless hand and said, "Could we sing, 'Count Your Many Blessings'?" And the missionary started the song, but did not make it all the way through without breaking down in tears. When asked about the song, he said, "I will sing it again, but never in the same way I've ever done before." There's a minister named by Russ Blowers. He once was asked to speak at a Rotary Club about his profession, and he wanted to say that more than I'm a preacher. So this is what he said. "Hi, I'm Russ Blowers. I'm with a global enterprise. We have branches in every country in the world. We have representatives in nearly every parliament and boardrooms on earth. We're into motivation and behavior alteration. We run hospitals, feeding stations, crisis pregnancy centers, universities, publishing houses, and nursing homes. We care for clients from birth to death. We are into life insurance and fire insurance. We perform spiritual heart transplants. Our original organizer owns all the real estate on Earth, plus an assortment of galaxies and constellations. He knows everything and lives everywhere. Our product is free for the asking, and there is not enough money to buy it. Our CEO was born in a hick town, worked as a carpenter, and didn't own a home. Was misunderstood by his family and hated by his enemies. Walked on water, was condemned to death without a trial, and arose from the dead. I talk to him every day." Then there's a story about the Puritan sat down to pray over his meal of bread and water and said, "All this, and Yeshua too." We all need to know we have a shepherd, Elohim, who hears us when we call, one who shows his power by love, who sent his Holy Spirit to live in us, one who has all of his kingdom waiting for us, a shepherd who has grace that can be available for every sin, one that guides us in every direction we take, one who can dispel darkness when we are in the darkness with his light, one who can give us stability when the storms of life come breaking in on our lives, a shepherd that no one can take away. A diagnosis of cancer can infect your salvation. Being short of money, even for a need, can't diminish your prayer life. A storm might come and destroy your things, but can't touch your home in his kingdom. You may have a good position of life right now, but it will pass. But your place in his kingdom is forever. A person comes to a minister to be consoled one day, and he had lost money, and he said to the minister, "I've lost everything." The minister says, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that you've lost your faith." No, I did not lose my faith. The minister said, "Well, I'm sorry to hear that you've lost your character." "I didn't say that. I still have my character." The minister says, "I'm sorry to hear that you lost your salvation." The man says, "I didn't say that. I haven't lost my salvation." So the minister said, "You have your faith, you have your character, and you have salvation. Seems to me that you've lost none of the things that really matter. May this be the day that you are set free from the prison of want. May it be the day that you may rejoice that Yahweh is my shepherd, and I shall not want." Yahweh bless.
Want. Brother gives us a sermon of no want. I want to share a personal witness with you. I was in Desert Storm. I was at the breach force for 2nd Marine Division, first 1,000 ground troops into Kuwait the morning we attacked. But for 2 weeks before that, they kept us out in the desert in a staging area, and we did nothing. We did not know if we were going to eat that day, because they didn't have all that much food to go around. So we shared what little we had. We owned nothing but what we literally carried on our backs. It was at a time in the desert where it was either too cold or too hot. We had not bathed for over a month and a half. We had nothing, and we knew nothing about what was going to happen the next day. We literally lived in holes in the ground because we were close enough to be shelled. I dug one out of limestone. It took me 3 days. Everybody was laughing at me. Owned nothing, had nothing, did not know what was coming tomorrow. I sat there listening to your sermon, and I was thinking to myself, that was one of the happiest times of my life, because I had my brothers with me, and we knew we were going to be okay. And even when they laughed at me for digging my hole, we got shelled one night, and I had 12 grown men sitting in that hole with me because I dug it out of limestone, and it was the safest place around.
There you go.
And I remember thinking, I had my brothers safe because I did the work I needed to do. And you know what got us all through it? Thinking of home. You had to push through it. We were Marine. We weren't going home until we got the mission done. You had to push through the mission to get back home. We got to push through this life to get to our home, brother.
Yep.
And I was happy as long as I had my buddies with me. I got my brothers and sisters with me. I don't need anything.
Amen.
Told you it piggybacks on.
Yeah.